Fighting for the sake of fighting, power for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere.
And President Biden calling for unity in his State of the Union address tonight, his first joint session of Congress since Republicans took control of the House.
Our Dana Rebick is here now with more on today's speech. Dana.
The president spoke for well over an hour, at times interrupted by heckling by a handful of Republican lawmakers. Biden hitting on a wide variety of topics from the economy and climate change to police reform, his overarching theme to finish the job.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and the distinct honor to present to you the President of the United States.
President Joe Biden began his State of the Union by congratulating the 118th Congress and shaking the hand of the new Republican Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you.
The president beginning his speech by saying the story of America is of progress and resilience and never giving up.
2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years because of you all, because of the American people.
Biden looking back 2 years ago, saying COVID-19 had shut down businesses and schools, and that now the virus no longer controls our lives. Biden touting his infrastructure bill, Respect for Marriage Act, and dozens of other pieces of bipartisan legislation he says shows both parties can work together under his leadership. But there was some tension during his speech when Biden said some Republicans were trying to hold him hostage in regard to the debt ceiling.
Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. Well, I'm glad to see you.
Biden went on to highlight a 50-year low in the unemployment rate, saying inflation and gas prices have been dropping for the last 6 months. The president also talking about his work to crack down on big pharma, on the cost of prescription drugs, including insulin, and on climate change, his work to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations.
The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat. We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren, to confront it.
And later, Biden recognized the parents of Tyree Nichols, who was killed by police in Memphis last month.
All of us in this chamber, we need to rise to this moment. We can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts that we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something.
Biden also urged Congress to codify Roe v. Wade. He also talked about China, saying the U.S. seeks competition, not conflict with the country, but that if China threatens our sovereignty, he will act to protect our nation. Closing by calling the State of the Union strong. Republicans did not stand and clap when he said that, but at the end, when he completed his speech and was shaking hands, they all stood to applaud.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy didn't stand either during that.
No, he didn't.
Okay, thank you. Well, a sophomore from Rolling Meadows High School sat next to the First Lady during the address. Dr. Jill Biden met Kate Foley in November while she was promoting the Biden administration's commitment to career-connected learning. Now, Foley is a computer-integrated manufacturing student at the high school, which prepares students for future careers. Foley is planning to become a biomedical engineer. Dr. Biden was so impressed by her that she invited Foley to be her guest tonight.
And Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders gave the Republican rebuttal to the State of the Union.
I'll be the first to admit, President Biden and I don't have a lot in common. I'm for freedom, he's for government control. At 40, I'm the youngest governor in the country. And at 80, he's the oldest president in American history. I'm the first woman to lead my state, and he's the first man to surrender his presidency to a woke mob that can't even tell you what a woman is.
Former White House Press Secretary slammed the president for high taxes and poor spending.